So, Alex, when you sat down to watch Joker this weekend, did you find all the exits? Were you aware of your surroundings?
Jackson, you didn't even ask how I got these scars.
No, wrong movie.
No,
Wrong movie.
It's the right movie.
So you got them at the theater?
I got them at the theater.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so big weekend this weekend. Joker, from what I understand, nothing happened anywhere.
Yes.
Which is good news.
Yes.
I heard there were security on staff at the Marcus theaters in our area.
That's where I went and I saw them.
Yeah, New Vision doesn't care that much about their customers.
You heard it here first.
No, I'm just kidding.
I think eventually we're going to get big enough that could have legal ramifications.
Well, I think that's, I don't know, security. I don't know. That seems going a little too far, in my opinion. But
no
whatever.
such thing. No such thing when it comes to security. I'm a fan of the Patriot Act.
There you go. Big Patriot Act guy.
Big Patriot Act guy.
Yeah.
Tap everything. Tap
metal
my anus.
detectors at your movies.
Yep.
All right.
Everything. Everywhere. I want a metal detector when I leave my bathroom.
Actually, that's funny you mentioned you said something,
Tap my anus.
Tap your anus.
Tap my
so
anus.
I just saw, this isn't quite the anus, but there is a company in Wisconsin that put microchips in people's hands. Like instead of ID cards, they're chipped.
Oh, you know that there are people who think that's like the sign of the devil. That's the mark of the beast.
What, the chip?
Yeah, the chip. Once you get the chip,
it's
all over.
You're done.
Those who don't have the chip, they have a soul. They're not going to hell. I've swear to God, man.
So we're just bored and annoyed with Joker this week, right?
Just Joker,
just
no topic.
Joker.
I feel like the movie...
It's big enough for it to be a topic. Yeah.
Big enough.
Well, yeah, so I mean, you could spin that off to just say Joker, as in Joker in general. I mean, we can have a little discussion on different Jokers. Joker as a character. Yeah,
I assumed that would be part of it.
Bringing you the most important and the most entertaining news that you will get all day. It's the movie news with a couple of rabble-rousers, Jackson and Home at the Movies. It's Bored and Annoyed with the news.
I know Scorsese might have, I haven't talked to you about this, but I figured he might have irritated you.
I mean,
this week a little bit.
So let's just go into the quote. The quote is that he basically said that Marvel movies are not films. They're not films.
They're amusement park, theme park rides or something.
Yes. And I mean, they are kind of like an amusement park or a theme park. I mean, the whooping and the hollering and the screaming on opening weekend. I mean, that's very theme park-ish.
Does that make it not a film, though?
That's the whole point. Is like, just because people enjoy it, does that mean it's not a film? Does it have to be? I mean, the problem is that we're getting into the semantics of what makes a film. And I get what he's trying to say, but it's kind of like, you remember like way back in the day, you and I had a discussion about what makes a real film?
Yes,
and
correct.
I'm like, well, it's all real films.
Okay.
Now you can... You know, disqualify something for its quality if you want.
Sure.
Say, I don't think it's a good film, but it's still a film.
Yeah, like Transformers 2 is a film.
It's still a film.
Ugh.
It's still,
is it though?
I mean, it's a movie. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, is it a flick or is it a movie?
And I'm saying it as the guy who sometimes I like a good trashy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and I don't think but my point would be to him is that I don't think the Marvel movies are that. In my opinion.
Well, I wouldn't say. I mean, I'm sitting here and I'm like, what really separates them from something like E.T. or Back to the Future?
Sure.
Tonally, they're pretty similar. They're crowd pleasers in the same way. You know, I mean, the good ones are approaching that echelon of I think you would say that they are more dependent on action, big blockbustery type CGI shit, I guess. But what the thing he said that I didn't like, and I'm paraphrasing, he said something about there's no emotion or something in the character interactions. He said something specifically, and we should probably have it pulled up if we were professionals. I mean, but he said something specifically about
that aspect of it. And my first thought was like, I don't know, man. There's been a few like tearjerker moments where characters were built up really well.
Right.
I think about the end of Guardians 2.
I think Guardians 2 has a really emotional ending.
Right.
I think Guardians 1's beginning kind of rips your heart out a little bit with the mom with the cancer.
Sure. Yeah. Right. Like, how is that not like character building?
Or when God, I'm blanking. Peggy has her Alzheimer's moment. One of the saddest moments in the MCU, I would say.
I wasn't that attached to Peggy, but
it's a very heartbreaking scene, knowing what it means to Steve. There are moments of real emotion and real character, so I don't get it.
So here's what he said. As well made as they are, with actors doing the best they can under the circumstances, the best thing I can compare it to is theme parks. It isn't the cinema of human beings trying to convey emotional, psychological experiences to another human being. And on that, I just disagree.
Right. I mean,
that sounds like a guy who hasn't watched many of them.
Right. Well, and it's like, if it's not your bag, man, just say that. That's fine.
Right.
But
you don't need to insult it.
You don't have to tear it down.
Yeah. I mean, Jennifer Aniston is piling on.
Is she?
Today. Yeah.
Did she have a quote?
She said something about how it's like killing cinema or something. And it's like, you know what kills cinema are all the fart movies that you do with Ben Stiller and whatever as the boring... I'm sorry, but she is the boring, straight man character to whoever the goofy bastard is in her movie.
This is just what happens when you're king of the hill. Everybody wants to take a shot at the
Patriots.
King. Yeah, exactly. The MCU is the Patriots of cinema. They absolutely are.
They're the Patriots of cinema.
It's not a bad comparison. The level of domination, box office, and consistency that they've had, I'm not saying they're the greatest, right? But as far as like the quality,
no, that's where I am a little like questioning of his thought process. Is like, I don't like the idea that they're just laughed off as these like they're good. Maybe they're not great. Like, at least you can say they've come out with like 24 extremely there's one or two bad ones in the bunch, really, and if they're not good, they're probably just not your thing, but they're well constructed. There's a lot of copy and paste shit, like, don't get me wrong, but that's every fucking movie, right?
I mean, we've reached a point where there is nothing new under the sun. We just try and put a new spin on something that's already been done. That's really where we're at.
And these like anti-Marvel people this week with Joker, like thinking it's the greatest thing ever, like that. Like, have you not seen any movie from the 70s or like, I'm sorry, but spoiler, I liked You Were Never Really Here better than Joker.
Oh, okay.
From last year. Overall, I think it's a better movie. Now, this one might have had a little bit more to intrigue me just because it's the Joker.
Yeah.
But like, it's not, they're both like kind of gritty.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
All you have to do is look at the two inspirations, King of Comedy and Taxi Driver.
Right.
And it's like, well, no, there's nothing new.
Right.
Sorry.
Like, and that doesn't mean it's bad.
No, it doesn't.
Right. No. Yeah.
Just fucking, it's just one of those things where it's like, get off your damn high horse. It's just movies. Like, I get, like, Scorsese's
I'm
like...
actually, can I tell you I'm impressed with how you're taking Scorsese's comments? I must say.
I respect him.
Yeah, he's amazing.
I mean, in all honesty, the Jennifer Aniston one bothered me more.
Annoying.
Because it's like, you have no goddamn right to talk. You have no right to talk. You contribute nothing to cinema.
She was in Friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Ross and Rachel.
Yeah.
The not as good as Seinfeld comedy from the 90s.
Yeah, the not even close to as good as Seinfeld.
Correct.
Yeah, I don't know. That bothers me more.
All right, well, I'm glad
I also had like a couple days to process it. And then I started, reading all of these people's comments online. And when you read people who have the vitriolic, angry reaction,
sure,
that might be your immediate, like,
they sound like lunatics.
Well, and you're like, you know what? Let's bring it back to the realm of sanity.
Well, folks, I was hoping for a little bit of a blow up from and I probably would have like mostly agreed with you. Yeah. Honestly, because I read it. I don't agree with him.
I just think he's wrong. And you're right. He probably hasn't seen him.
Of course he hasn't. I mean, come on. There's so many examples of what I talked about. Yeah. His him being wrong. Exactly.
Yeah. That's what really annoys me is the people who are like, these movies aren't for me, but you've never watched one to actually know. Because I feel like it's gotten to the point where Marvel is good enough with their movies that I feel like if you like blockbuster movies, you should probably like at least a few of those Marvel movies.
Sure.
Because they're just well-constructed character or action pieces.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, this reminds me of with the wife. She doesn't like Westerns. And I'm always like, well, wait a minute. You can't really do that. You can't just say because when I turn one on, I try to watch one with her. And it's like, you can tell she's shut off to the idea that it could be good. So even if it's on for 2 hours and she's like passively watching it,
right?
It's not like it's like you made up your mind before you watched it. So even if Scorsese's seen these, I mean, he is a human being,
right?
Like everyone else,
right?
He says he tried to watch them,
right?
But what did he go in? Like, what expectations did he
pull
have?
Out his phone?
Yeah. Like we do sometimes when something sucks or we're not into something.
Yes.
You know, because I can watch something the first time and maybe I'm just in a certain type of mood. I'm not engaged. And then I watch it the second time and I think it's great.
Yeah.
You know, so
I had a movie that exactly, where I turned it on this week and we'll get into for shit we watched.
Ooh, I'm excited.
But I didn't see it initially because I'm like, not my type of movie. Not going to see it. Decided to see it. It was not my type of movie.
Okay.
It was, but I can say objectively, it doesn't have anything to do with it not being my type of movie. It was a poorly constructed movie.
Okay. I'm excited to hear what it is.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, we can talk about some other things. Let's see. We've got the director for the new Ballerina movie, which is the spinoff for John Wick. It is the director of the Underworld movies.
All of them? Has he done all the Underworld movies?
I don't think he's done all of them.
So I don't like those movies.
Len Wiseman.
I don't like those movies. I get it though, because he's like a world building guy.
He's hip.
He did like a world building movie
but
where
also,
there's like things in an underground organization
I feel like they looked at him and they're like, well, you're kind of close visually to what we do, so why don't you just...
No, it's bad, though, because the action in those isn't great.
No, it's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad action. It's like, it was
Is it bad, or is it just that you don't give a flying fuck about anyone in any of the action scenes? Like, is it objectively bad action? It's been so long that I don't even fucking remember.
I think it's action devoid of tension.
Sure.
And it's not just because you don't care about the characters, but it's also because it's so slow-mo, you know, no real choreo. Like there's choreography, but it's kind of like, watch how badass this one person is as they take out everybody.
Well, okay, question. Can he use slow-mo in the John Wick
I don't
universe?
want it.
I don't think you can do it.
I don't think
can
it works.
You?
No.
No. Yeah.
I mean, they'll probably allow him to do it and be like, well, it's a spin-off. And do
but that's why John Wick's so awesome is because it just flows.
It just happens.
Right.
It's like watching a heightened reality.
Right. Yeah, it's great. But, that stinks.
Yeah, that's bad news. Let's see. What else did we have?
Well, I know Scorsese, back to him, his movie, The Irishman, apparently theaters don't want to screen it because they have some sort of issue with Netflix, and Netflix is only giving it a 3-week theatrical run before it's on streaming.
Right. So these theaters, they actually don't want to put it in, right?
So I think there's a couple things here. So the movie's really long. So how many full screen showings can you even get?
Right.
How many people want to go to the theater for a movie that long when they know they can watch it at their own house in 3 weeks?
In 3 weeks,
and you've kind of killed their, now that you've already said, released on streaming on this date, everybody's just going to say, well, fuck it, I'll just wait till then. I don't know. This is going to be interesting moving forward, though, because for big movies that Netflix has the right to, I feel like this is going to happen a lot.
Right. Well, I mean, Netflix has made itself the enemy of traditional cinema because they have foregone the exhibition.
Sure.
So I don't I don't know. Like, you asked before we started the episode, because you brought up this story, whose side are we on? You know, we're gonna take sides here.
Oh, you take a stand.
And
we're
it's
all
like,
about
I don't, and true to form,
we don't have an answer.
I don't have an answer. I don't have a side here because like you said, you made a compelling argument for why the theaters don't want it.
Right.
And I think that Netflix, you know, I mean, like, Netflix is just going to do what Netflix does.
Well, I mean, what is Netflix supposed to do? They have one of the biggest directors of all time directing the cast of all of his favorite movies, and they have the rights to it.
Yes.
What the fuck are they supposed to do?
Right. I mean,
they'll get a bunch of subscriptions just from this movie.
Right.
Like this is an event where there will be tangible amounts of people who sign up for Netflix to watch this movie. I think. You know what? I'm going to disagree. Oh, really? Because I think like the older, like the snobby-ish movie crowd will
maybe, but I mean,
this.
I feel like that's a small crowd.
Okay.
I do. I feel like us, the cinephile crowd, we're actually kind of a small part of the population.
Okay.
Now, if this was the next big Marvel movie coming out and
we're
it was
the
Netflix,
best part of the population.
Oh boy, yep. Not going to get into that, Scorsese. But yeah, I don't think that there are going to be a ton of people flocking to this because I look at like Scorsese's sort of box office run recently and it hasn't been great.
Yeah, but this isn't like another Scorsese movie. This is the first time since I believe Casino. Mm-hmm. Like it's got that feel to it, and people go, Goodfellas is his, in my opinion, that's like his magnum opus, right?
Right.
And everybody loves Pacino, De Niro, fucking Pesci.
Right.
You got Pesci back. I don't know if he's an asshole again. I hope he's the same character he was in the last two Scorsese movies. But it's an event.
It is an event. I mean, we'll see what happens. I have no doubt that it will do well on Netflix, but they're making the right call. Because well, I mean, what are they supposed to do? Let it be out for 3 months and then it comes to Netflix
and
like
nobody
everything
cares.
else?
Yeah, and nobody cares.
No, this is, in fact, I would say that theaters are almost lucky to have been offered a 3-week window.
Okay.
You know, because Netflix could be like, no, you have to watch it on Netflix or you don't see it.
Well, you know, it also makes me wonder, because I think the movie's like 3 hours and 45 minutes or 3.5 hours long. It's like long.
Holy fuck.
So, yeah, then I start to wonder, too, on the theater side is, well, what, can you show that 3 times in a day?
Right.
I mean, how many screens do you have to take up to do that? How many screens are already taken by Disney for whatever deal they have with every fucking theater? Honestly. Like, what, you don't, are you going to play like 4 movies?
Right.
So,
yeah.
Well, I mean, I hope it's playing around here because I will go. I wish there was an intermission, which apparently, from what I understand, there is not.
You know what? You watch it at home, you get to decide your own
That's
intermission.
just it. Yeah, that's it. Right. So yeah, we'll see. But I'm excited to see the movie. I think it's got like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes from those who've seen it.
God damn.
Yeah, it's
That's
supposed
impressive.
to be good.
Let's see. We also had Brie Larson had some comments about online troll.
What did she say this time? Did she troll the trolls again?
I think she trolled the trolls.
Yeah, she's getting pretty good at that.
Well, she said she's like, oh, I didn't know that there was anything going on there. She's like, truthfully, I don't have the time for that. Like, when I do get spare time, I don't spend it on that. I'm like, have I called my mom today? Have I eaten enough today?
And what was she speaking of specifically? Did somebody ask her about
the anti Brie Larson, anti Captain Marvel, the geeks and gamers of the world?
Oh boy! See, now I'm not a geeks and gamers guy. Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers with another video. She annoys me.
Right.
But I'm not like, it's not gonna, you know.
I wish
but
that
I think it's funny that she did like dress up as like a Star Wars character or whatever and say she wanted to. That's funny because you know that just makes them sick.
Yep.
So that's pretty good troll work.
It's moments like that where like I kind of like her a little bit. Like she pulls it back a little bit because I really didn't like the whole like, oh, I don't need to know what a white man thinks about whatever the Wrinkle in Time.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's what it was.
Because you're a white man and you thought it sucked.
Yeah, and I don't matter because it's not a movie made for me. And it's like, well, yeah, but I could watch any child's movie. It doesn't matter who the target demographic is. If it's not well made, it's not well made.
You know what? You just kind of brought up a good point too, or you made me think of a good point. And I don't remember if we talked about this the last time that this came up, but this is a film in A Wrinkle in Time, that area of filmmaking.
Right.
You're doing it to make money, right?
Yeah.
So you better make sure that like the quote unquote like white population, maybe you should care what they think about it, since they're the vast majority of people.
Well,
that will spend money to go to the cinema.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
Well, and they are trying to do. Well, it's a dumb comment that you just made.
That she made.
Oh, I mean, she's making. I understand what they're doing because they're going after sort of like an underutilized. Like they're hoping for the black market or a Black Panther sort of thing where it's an underutilized part of the population, and they're going to come out in droves because like they don't get shit made for them like this.
Well, no, and
I get it,
and that's true. But Black Panther spent a ton of money, and there were a ton of white people that also paid money to see Black Panther and liked it. And so her point is dumb. Whereas now maybe the Medea movies, they're probably made for like $3 million.
Right.
And it doesn't matter. Right.
Well, it was meant to be a new franchise. It was meant to be a part of like Disney's new tentpole, I'm sure. Because
The Wrinkle in Time was?
I believe so. I think it was.
Was it that bad? I haven't seen it.
It's truly atrocious.
I need to watch it.
It was one of the worst movies I saw was that last year?
I think it was last year because you talked about it on the podcast.
God damn, that was a bad movie. It's a really bad movie. Sorry, Brie. I know you don't care what I think.
Was she in it?
No, she wasn't.
She was just talking about it.
She was just,
it got brought up.
It was the idea of representation. We need more people in representation. And like, it's like, that's all fair and good. Sure. I get it, but let's not disqualify somebody's opinion because they're not the right person.
Right.
That's all.
Yeah. Smart.
But,
I mean, Joker, except for yours.
Except for mine. I mean, but we disqualify mine on an individualistic basis.
That's true. The whitest movie we will disqualify.
No, we just disqualify my opinion.
Right.
Because I'm me.
Oh, okay.
Not because I'm white or a dude.
I think it's those things.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Mine too. I mean... Well, I mean, I don't know why we have this show, really.
I disqualify your opinion on a second-by-second basis.
Right. All right, continue. Sorry.
I don't really think there's too much else. Joker came out and did really well at the box office. 96 million opening weekend, 935 worldwide.
Jesus.
So it's doing gangbusters. This movie is absolutely guaranteed to hit 500 million, which is insane.
135 worldwide, right? You said 935.
235.
Oh, you said 935.
Did I say 935?
Yes. I was like, no, it couldn't have done that. It's gonna be an Endgame.
Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah,
it's on pace. Yes, it's going to crush it. 500 million is the estimate.
I'd say it's on pace to definitely pass 500 million. Might even pass 600, which would be really impressive.
So people weren't too scared to go see the Joker this weekend.
Yeah. I guess that's the story.
Yeah. I mean, it's part of it, right? The media made this big fucking deal out of it.
Did they really? I didn't see much on the media about it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you don't have security guards all of a sudden hired to be at your movie theater and change your bag policy.
That's
for
true.
Nothing.
That's true. That's true.
So, yeah, but anyway.
Keeping with the DC news, though.
Okay.
Zack Snyder revealed something today. Or not today, a couple days ago.
Oh, I haven't heard this.
You remember that, Man of Steel? Beginning of the movie? Or end of the movie?
End of the movie. Okay.
General's all like, oh, don't trust you. Got my satellites on you.
Yes, the satellites, yeah.
He was supposed to be the Martian Manhunter.
That kind of works.
Yeah.
It kind of makes sense. Like, I get it.
I get it. I still
hold on. Excuse me. Sorry. Is he the Martian Manhunter during that scene? Or he was going...
Yes.
Oh.
He's supposed to be... He's a shapeshifter.
Okay. Yeah, no, I know. I thought maybe the... Okay.
Yeah. That was the plan. He revealed the storyboards, which, you can tell how rough of an idea it was because it looked like it was drawn in crayon. Like in a matter of 5 minutes.
Well, it couldn't have been worse than what we ended up getting.
No.
Although Zack Snyder was at the helm of what we got too, so
right.
he's in. Yeah,
I just love the fact that he's still on this train.
Yeah, you're done. Walk away.
Why do you do this?
Walk away, Zach.
I feel like his whole damn point. I feel like, in all honesty, I feel like his reason for existing is for the hashtag Snyder Cut. Release the Snyder Cut.
Well, Jason Momoa saw the Snyder Cut.
Oh, it's fucking sweet, bro. It's fucking sweet, bro.
You know what though? Yeah, it's really getting pathetic.
It is.
Like, you're done.
I'm showing Jackson the storyboards.
The bottom right storyboard, it looks like Bobby from King of the Hill to me. That was my first reaction. The little kid from King of the Hill. But yeah, no, he needs to go do his own thing.
Yeah, go do something else.
He needs to
Move on.
to direct a movie not written by him where his aesthetic works.
Like the Holocaust.
Jesus Christ.
I'm just saying, he's so goddamn dour.
I was thinking like the big comic book style action scenes and then the Holocaust. I'm like, how could we work one of those in?
Hey.
The zooms and the pans and
A Jewish person during the Holocaust gets superpowers, fucking destroys Nazis. There's a movie.
Okay.
It actually could be really
Magneto.
cool. Well, there's that, but I mean, like something a little different.
Not? Fuck it. I'd like to see some Nazis get killed by a Jewish superhero.
I love it.
That sounds great.
It's one of my favorite. It's one of the things where I'm like, how has this not been a movie yet? Like, we live in this time.
Well, I mean, it's part of what made what was the World War II zombie movie that wasn't really a zombie movie at all?
Overlord.
Yeah, it's part of what made that so fun, right?
It was so great.
Yeah, it was great.
I need to buy that on Blu-ray. That's a fucking fantastic
movie. It is a great movie.
But do you want to go into the Joker review?
Yes. Yeah. So Joker. Let's first off. I already started by saying this, but I'm going to say it again. My initial thoughts on the movie. I really, 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 really liked it. I liked it a lot. I kind of loved it. Mm-hmm. But then I got home and I saw the way that people who loved it are raving about it, like they've never seen anything like it. That kind of annoys me. Because you know what? Like, it shouldn't take putting the Joker in one of these slow character study movies to all of a sudden everybody likes these. Like, if this wasn't the Joker, there's so many people that would have been bored out of their fucking minds, in my opinion.
You're right. I mean, I think the idea is that honest to God, you take out the name Joker, keep the story exactly the same, but he doesn't put on a Joker makeup and asks to be called Joker.
Okay.
And I think those same people are probably bored.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I totally believe that. I 100% believe that. Now, I guess you could put a positive spin on this and say, well, hey, maybe this will open their eyes to this kind of movie. You know what I'm saying? You don't think so?
Nope.
Okay.
Because people are comfortable in the things that they know, and they know these big pop culture characters.
They know Joker.
Yes.
Joker is arguably the greatest, most popular comic book supervillain or villain of all time.
To me, I don't even think it's close.
No, it's probably not.
I went in very cautious about this movie because I realized we were sort of dealing, because of the Aurora shooting, because of sort of some of what's happening in society right now. I sort of get why some people were trepidatious about this movie. So I walked in and I was like, let's just see how it is. And I thought this movie was really well made. Like, unbelievable. Like, I was kind of blown away.
Okay.
I was really blown away. And Phoenix, I mean, the Oscar hunt is over.
Oh, you think so?
I think it's over.
You think it's done?
I will be shocked if there's anything that makes me go,
that's better than Joaquin Phoenix and Joker.
It makes me even think about it.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, it was amazing.
Okay.
Now I do have gripes as far as like, and they're stupid gripes. Like, they're not things.
Are they comic book nerd gripes?
They're comic book nerd gripes.
Right. I figured.
But I was able to put that, like, to the movie's testament. I was able to put those aside.
Okay.
And say, this is a different thing. Let's just take it as it is.
Sure.
There are a couple directorial, literally like shots where I was like, could have done that better.
Everybody's talking about how great the cinematography and shit was in it. That was one thing where I guess I was surprised everybody thought it looked so great, because to me there's a lot of stale static shots in this.
I think people were happy with that.
Okay.
If I'm honest, I think people were happy with the idea of a throwback to that kind of movie.
Sure.
But I'm also with you in that I don't think I think people are raving about the cinematography, don't really fully understand cinematography.
Okay.
Because I don't think it's good. I don't think it's great. It had some nice set design, and I would say the set design and the costume design were actually maybe even more impressive than the actual cinematography.
It really takes you back to watching grimy old New York 70s movies.
Absolutely.
Yes.
In the best possible way.
No, yeah, I walked out extremely pleased with it. You brought up the controversy.
Yeah.
So let's just talk about that for a minute. So this one, you see a lot of people saying it's irresponsible trash or whatever. And I don't see that. I'm very much okay, well, it's not the artist's job, and the artist would be the filmmaker in this instance. Which, by the way, going from the Hangover trilogy to this is impressive.
Yeah, Todd Phillips.
Phillips impressed me.
You turned my opinion of you as a director completely 180.
It was good.
I didn't even think he was that shitty, really.
No,
I just thought he was just kind of like a workman director.
It's funny that you say that, because I was watching Joe Rogan's podcast. He was interviewing Rob Zombie.
Sure.
And Rob Zombie was talking about how if you mute The Hangover and you just watch it, if you were to turn the sound off, it's not a comedy, that it's like a comedy that's really it looks
it's well shot.
Yes, it's it looks like a move, like a big budget movie. It's clean.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It is.
And to that point, that was a couple weeks ago that I watched that, and I'm like, maybe there's something to this, and maybe this guy actually has a ton of talent. But it's not, my point I was getting to was, it's not his responsibility to make sure that every person who views his movie understands that the character of the Joker isn't someone to like look up to. You know what I'm saying? Because for me, I'm watching it and like I had empathy for the character because I mean everybody listening to this knows what this movie's about, right?
Right.
But I had empathy for the character. He's getting shit on all the time, but he was such a fucking weirdo that it was hard for me to really like feel for him the way I would in a protagonist in another movie.
Okay.
Which I felt like was kind of intentional because it is hard to like level. You feel strange around people that have problems like he has. It's like you almost can't treat them like a normal person. Well, it's hard.
I think that's the whole damn point of the movie.
Exactly. So I'm sitting there watching it from that perspective, and then I'm seeing like, well, what if someone who's bullied goes and sees this movie and they see all these people looking up to him, but it's like, okay, well, then they didn't really understand the movie. I don't think of the joke. He's our protagonist, but he's not a hero.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't agree with that concept.
So what I'm going to say is that I understand your point.
Sure.
I slightly disagree.
Okay.
I would say that if you're making an ambiguous ending about how you're supposed to feel about the character at the end, and it does sell this kind of idea, and I've been kind of waffling back and forth on this. I've been really, and this is a testament to the movie. The movie is actually really good. It really makes you think.
Okay.
And part of it is some of the stuff that you just take in from the outside world and attribute to the movie. But I've been thinking a lot about the whole, like, the argument against violent video games and, like, how is this different? How is it saying, like, kids shouldn't watch this movie? How is that different? Or how is saying that this movie is potentially dangerous, whereas I can say a video game with zombies having their brains blown off is not dangerous for a child? And I've been wrestling with that a lot.
I think you could find some, if you were looking, you could find some ways.
I mean, yeah, I've been thinking about it, and I can share those thoughts here. But I would say the thing that makes me think that it is incumbent upon him is that if you are trying to make him seem like a bad guy, there are certain decisions made within the last few shots and within the last few minutes of the movie that do kind of glorify him with music choice, with shot choice, with how other characters interact with him. And so that complicates it to the point where it's like, if somebody is looking, actually, I don't even think they have to be looking for that message. I think the movie is borderline saying, this guy was necessary because these people are bad and this world is bad.
See, that's another thing where this is going to just be spoilers conversation. What's your grade? Grade. What's your grade on this?
I'll go B+.
Okay.
I struggle. Might be A-. I struggle.
I think I'm giving it an A-.
Okay.
It's a contender for like top 10 movies of the year, I would say. It was really fucking good.
Fully agree.
But yeah, so that's where I'm differing a little bit too. Like, you know, there's the whole kill the rich motif in this.
Yes.
Like almost like the Antifa or what was the Occupy Wall Street type idea.
Right.
And I didn't see it necessarily as like, oh, they're like, oh, we're supposed to feel bad for all these people and like Thomas Wayne's an asshole. I was looking at it as like, this is how they view Thomas Wayne, because the only thing we really get of Thomas Wayne being an asshole really is his comment about they're clowns. You know, like, oh, well, it makes sense. He's dressed up like a clown. They're all clowns, you know? Okay. So outside of that, and maybe this is just like knowing Thomas Wayne as a character from other Batman lore. Yeah. This might be leaking in and poisoning my brain on this.
Well, he's a good man in other things. And in this, he does seem to be portrayed as a little bit more of a dick.
But okay. So yes, I believe that's true. But the one other time where we have like a really focused scene with him is when Joker like kind of meets him in the bathroom,
right?
And he's just come to his house,
right?
And fucked with his son, and I'm looking at it from Thomas Wayne's perspective, like, dude, you're a fucking psycho. You're dangerous. You've touched my kid.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Right.
So I don't even consider that him being a prick. I throw that scene out completely.
Even though he was an asshole in that scene, but you're saying it's justified.
Justified asshole.
Right.
Yes.
Right. I mean, I think that's part of it, but I do think it's more than that. Because I think it's more than just the kill the rich. I think it's also like this idea of like tear it down.
Sure.
You know? And
the social services are getting cut off.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's all fucked, and you know, they don't care about people like you, and they certainly don't care about people like me.
Right.
That whole conversation. It's really at the end. It's really at the end where he's watching the city burn, and he does say like, isn't it beautiful or whatever? And you are, as a sane person, kind of like, well, this is wrong. But also at the same time,
yeah, I hope so. But are you?
But at the same time, but that's the whole point of the movie, is the movie is making the argument that this society was so goddamn broken, it needed a revolution, basically. Is basically what the movie's argument was.
I don't see it that way, because we know that this revolution that he brings isn't good.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And the problem, we know that as Batman fans. As a singular movie,
I mean, he's a fucking whack job.
He is. The problem with the movie is that I really actually think they tried to make him sympathetic.
I think he's sympathetic, but like there's a detached sympathy for him because you can't even see him as a human being. Well, he's so weird.
He's somebody that the system truly and utterly failed, and he needed real help. Real psychological help. Being locked up actually would have been better for all of society, for him and for him as a person, because the things that he was exposed to, he did not have the mental capacity to handle.
His mother fucked him over big time too.
His mother fucked him over, but also his jobs fucked him over. Also, there's the argument of, was it nature or nurture? Because maybe it was Thomas Wayne's kid, and maybe
which
she is crazy.
I liked that.
Yeah.
I liked the fact that they didn't really answer that. They had a clever way of like leaving it open that he could be.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And I feel like that was a great choice. And I would say, like, talking about great choices, my favorite goddamn choice in the whole movie is the revelation with that Zazie Beetz scene where she shows up in the apartment and she's like, "You're Arthur.
Yeah.
You live with your mom."
That was good.
The fact that they were dating up to that point, as far as you knew, I mean, it's the level of the movie, and this is why I can kind of see, and it's a really complex situation. I kind of get why people are a little disturbed by it and disturbed by the possible vindicating of a character like this.
Okay.
But I also think that the movie is also at the same time saying this is an unreliable narrator. He's the epitome of an unreliable narrator.
That's my point to the Thomas Wayne thing.
Right.
Because I'm seeing this movie like, obviously I can't be in his shoes because he's so fucking far gone and weird. And it's like you're watching it with it's almost, to me, I took it, a lot of it as more like darkly comedic than I know a lot of people did in the screening I was in.
There was no laughing.
I was laughing.
Oh,
I was
really?
laughing at this guy.
Goddamn, you were dark.
Dude, he fucking, and it's purposeful. He fucking runs into a glass door when he's talking to the detectives and they look up and go like, you know, they said something like, that's the exit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just sitting and like, I was the only one laughing. And like the people I was with were looking at me because I thought it was fucking hilarious. I thought his joke at the end made me laugh. There was a lot of dark shit in this.
Which joke?
When he's like, knock, knock, who's there? And he's like, this is the police here to tell you that your son is dead from a drunk driver. Right. And I'm just like, this is fucked. And I loved that scene too, because then he's like, he says something along the lines of, and I think Todd Phillips has actually kind of addressed this topic recently about how like comedy, it's subjective.
Right.
How you view the world and certain things is very subjective.
Yep.
And when you have a guy like this, he believes in what he's doing, however fucked it is.
I think some of the funny things that he said, he wrote, I think were the funniest things that like, I hope my death makes more sense than my life.
Sure.
And it's in cents.
Yeah.
Like pennies.
Oh, the fact that they kept showing his notebook was great. Now, I have a question for you. Does it bother you like trying to place him as like the mastermind who's going to be like the anti-Batman?
It's why you have to look at it as like its own thing.
Okay.
Because he's not. He's a fly by the seat of his pants. He got lucky. He has no mental capacity to actually plan out extravagant, booby traps for Batman. Or,
does he now, though?
I don't think so.
Does he now? Because at the end, he's kind of grown into a different character.
He has. Right now, there was nothing in this movie that made me think he was capable of that.
He's smarter than Batman and can outwit Batman.
Yes, there's nothing in this that makes me think that.
Now, I would agree. I don't agree that you have to view this as this own thing where like Batman doesn't exist in this. Like,
no, he clearly does.
Right. So that I guess that's my problem. So if let's pretend they're going to make a movie down the road with Batman. And you have to bring this Joker back. Let's assume that's going to happen because as much as they talk, $500 million talks to me, I think we're getting something new from this. Okay. I'm very intrigued to see how the fuck they would ever set this guy up as a villain against Batman. Because to me, Batman would just waste this motherfucker.
Well, and I really, truly think that I don't think that Joaquin Phoenix would be interested in that.
Okay.
Because and it's why Joaquin Phoenix has said, if Todd Phillips and I had our choice, we'd still be filming. Because in response to, could we get a sequel? So even though he's going out and saying stuff like that, I don't fully buy it. One, because I know that during press tours and talk shows and stuff, he'll lie. He just says things because he doesn't particularly like it.
Sure.
But I just don't buy it because Joaquin Phoenix is the type of person that signs on for a project because the movie speaks to him as a person.
Okay.
And I think you'd have to find a really psychologically interesting reason why he would be in the next movie.
I think you could, though.
Maybe.
I think you could, and I think that people like money. And he would take a paycheck.
I agree. You know what? I don't know if Joaquin Phoenix is the type of guy who will ever... I mean, look at his career. Has he done anything for a paycheck?
I don't think he would do like a pile of shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You're just saying like...
Yeah, it could happen. And I think that they'll find a way to do it. That's my opinion. Because this has got so much buzz, this fucking movie. I'm assuming it was relatively cheap. I would assume.
Maybe not. I mean, getting sets and costumes to look like that, probably a little tough.
Yeah, but it's going to be like, I bet, it's 55 million.
Which is, I mean, for a comic book movie, very cheap.
It's 1/5 of like a big budget Justice League type movie.
Right. Well, I mean, there's no CGI.
Right.
But I mean, for a movie, like, does it look like a $55 million movie? No. I don't know. I would say it looks more like a $20 million movie.
It's getting crazy. Like you know what? Respect to a lot of filmmakers. I think it does look like an expensive movie because it
looks good. It just looks
great.
Yeah.
It's not, it doesn't impress me as much as, I think it was the evil Superman one that was made for like 10 million, which I just fucking don't get.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see another one coming out of this.
But we can there are other things too we can talk about with this movie. So there's, So one, like you said that you were laughing during this movie, which is really surprising because like that scene where he runs into the door,
hilarious.
It's one of those moments where I'm watching it and I'm like, it's kind of like it is the tragedy of the character in that even when he's trying to be serious, he does something slapstick, but you're so disturbed by him and you're so detached and you're also just kind of like, I feel like you were able to look at it funny because you did have a little bit more of a disconnection than say like me or maybe even most people in the theater.
Yeah, I think that like it's supposed to be funny.
So
There's many moments in this that are supposed to be funny. You can tell he's a sick humored motherfucker. You've got the scene where he drops the handgun in the room with all the sick kids.
That was funny.
It's fucking funny in a crazy kind of way when he's sitting there laughing at the setups of the jokes and not the punchlines. That's funny.
It was like you were laughing, but it's this very uneasy laughing.
Oh, see, I was just like, this is fucking great. That doesn't mean I don't understand that the character is fucked up. It's just that I know this is a movie.
Right.
And it doesn't hurt the message of the movie. I fucking thought it was funny.
I think the opening shot of him laughing and trying not to laugh and the coughing and the wheezing that he's doing.
Loved that shit. Loved it.
That wasn't the opening scene,
no,
was it?
No, but the opening scene, he's doing making a smile on his face.
And then he gets his shit stolen, and then he goes to the...
I believe the first time we find out he has the condition is when he's on the bus trying to make the little kid laugh, and that woman's just an asshole to him, and he pulls the card out and shows it.
I thought he had it. I thought there was like a close-up. Anyways, I will be seeing this again because it's a movie I still am processing. I'm processing out loud right now. That scene though, like that was the moment where I'm like, we're fucked. Like this movie is fucked. Like the fact that we're dealing with an uncontrollable laughter and it can kind of like break your heart and disturb you at the same time because he's trying so hard to not have it happen.
It's so perfect for Joker. Like it's such a perfect little character bit for a Joker movie.
Right. Now, so yes, he becomes a different character.
Yes.
Arthur is vastly different at the end. When he goes on the show, I'm sitting there and he comes out and he kisses the lady and he does like the little dance and shit.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, this is actually like the Joker.
It feels like the Joker. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he kind of goes back into Arthur a little bit with the hurt feelings, with the, you brought me on to make fun of me.
It's great.
It was, I mean, and that's the moment where I'm like, you know what? There is vindication of him as a character. And the movie does do it intentionally because Now, you don't condone his actions, but you do believe that Robert De Niro deserves something.
No. I understand that, like, yeah, there's some empathy for his character and you understand why he's doing what he's doing. But I'm looking at it from the other way of like, this is why you don't treat people like shit.
Yes.
That's how I see it.
I mean, I think that's a good way. I think that's a positive way of walking out of the movie.
I don't necessarily see it as vindication for how he's acting. Now, it's just like every fucking slasher movie. I'm rooting for the fucking slasher. He's the guy. He's the one who's entertaining to watch. I know that I'm not Jason or Freddy Krueger. I'm not about to go fucking kill a bunch of people.
Right.
But
I'm just saying and they do a great job. I mean, it's the problem also of the character in and of itself, because the character is bigger than this movie. So like, people love the Joker. So when he starts doing Joker shit, people are like, this is great. This is what I want. And some people like you and I can look at it and say it's great because it's entertainment and as he's an interesting character. Doesn't mean we condone what he does. Some people like him literally for what he stands for. He likes they like the idea of the anarchist, you know, the fuck you to the system.
Yeah,
and there is a certain amount of, there really is. I truly believe there really is. There's dual messages in this, which is why it's troubling and it's hard to pin down for me how I feel about it, because I don't want to support something that is going to, that's asking people to go out and act violently.
It's not though. It's not.
I don't know.
Oh, come on.
It's just very tough.
See, to me, I feel like the only reason you're saying that is because he's the main character. Because guess what? People fucking love the Joker in every fucking Joker movie that he's in.
Right.
And the only reason it's okay to love him is because he's the bad guy and Batman's there. But like, are we shocked that the Joker acts like this?
No,
he's the fucking Joker, right?
Right. There was something that you said a little bit ago that I had like a thought on.
Sorry, I probably fucked it up.
It's
being the asshole.
No, I really did like it. Like, I liked it a lot.
Sure.
It is a movie about the dangers of alienating people not being treated for things that they should be treated for.
Sure.
It definitely actually does kind of make the Democrat argument of or left argument, whatever you want to say, which is, if things get too bad for people down in the streets, it's bad for everybody. There's got to be a level of like, you got to keep people above a certain level.
I suppose you could say that.
I think that's just history. Like,
sure, no. But I'm saying, I'm not talking about your point. I'm saying you could say that that's the message of the movie. I don't know if I 100% agree with that.
Oh, okay.
Like, these people aren't responsible for their own actions, and
no,
I don't know that. Like, that's where we can disagree. That's fine, but that makes it a more interesting movie,
right? Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, okay, take the fact that it's a garbage strike. Like, that's something that's going on in the background. It's the idea that literally this is such a shitty town that literally there's garbage everywhere.
You know, that's a nice little nugget of information we get that kind of just brings a little more life to the movie.
Right.
That's one of those things. You know what I mean?
I just looked at it as like, I think it's supposed to be a metaphor. I think it's supposed to be a metaphor for like why tensions are so high, you know? I don't know.
I mean, it's also interesting that you said, you know, people being treated for things that are not being treated for things that they should be treated for. And it's like, well, or maybe not, or maybe the Joker was all hopped up on pills ever since he was a kid, and he's all fucked up.
But when he got off his pills was when, when he started killing people.
Sure. But he's also a way more like, he seems like a more with it person, right? You know what I'm saying?
He seems more with it, but I guess that's kind of like the question is like, do you allow somebody to be themselves if it means that they're gonna kill people?
Well,
or do you sedate them and just?
Oh no, of course not. But I'm saying you're under the assumption, like, who knows if he would have turned out that way?
Well, that's kind of like the whole point of the movie. It's like, we don't know how he would turn out because we don't know if it's genetic,
right?
Because we know his mom is crazy.
We just know that people are dicks,
and we know that society, and that's like this thing of like, it's almost like this perfect storm creating this character, and so there is. in some way, it's actually really great because it kind of pays homage to the idea of like the Joker doesn't have a singular origin story.
Sure.
There's not one thing, even when he kills those jackass frat boy type dudes.
Yes.
It's still not the thing that completely breaks him.
No.
There are so many things that break him throughout the movie.
I liked that too, because like the first two, you could argue self-defense, but then the third guy that he chases down and kills. Nothing's just given to you.
It was fantastic. And there's a moment of real honest to God triumph where he goes and he kisses the girl.
Sure.
And obviously we don't know at the time, but it's fake.
So like a few people I've talked to spotted, I can't believe how obvious it was that it was fake.
Really?
Yeah. And I didn't catch it. I was tricked.
What was the thing?
Well,
because I didn't catch it.
Well, he had already, I feel like there was a moment when he had already like kind of gone into being delusional. Like there was a scene where he talked about it or something. And then you just think back on it. It's like, really?
Oh,
he walked up to her door out of nowhere and just kissed her.
Right.
And then there's like the montage where she's with him at like the hospital. I don't know. It was just very like looking back, I felt like kind of foolish that I didn't spot it. But.
I get, well, the real setup for it is when he's watching Robert De Niro on TV and then he goes through this huge make-believe thing in his head.
Yes, that's a good example.
That was where you were set up the idea that he's a truly unreliable narrator. But it's played as like almost singular because nothing else in the movie, that never happens again.
Outside of all of the shit going on with the girl.
Right. But at the time, you don't know that that's fake because that's a large chunk of the movie.
There's also the scene where he's watching his mother after he reads the papers that say the adoption papers, and he's imagining that scene. And basically in his version of that scene, like Thomas Wayne made her sign all this shit.
Right. Yeah, there was that. God, there was some just really great shit in this. And that's why I kind of go like to the music choices, still sort of clinging to my idea that there's a certain amount of vindication in this. Because when he's becoming the Joker, when he comes back from, I forget what it was, but he's like, I had a really bad day.
Sure.
And he goes into Zazie Beet's apartment. The music is incredibly ominous and it's just all dark tones. And then at the end of the movie, it is very triumphant. It's operatic. It is triumphant.
Okay. It's from his point of view, though.
Right. I know. I get that. I'm just saying, like, if you're not picking up on everything.
Yeah, but why is that Todd Phillips' problem? Why is that the creator's problem?
I just think you have, I'm not saying it's necessarily his problem. I'm saying it can become problematic if you're not handling it well, I guess.
Okay.
I think it's just one of those things where maybe a little bit more thought might have gone further. That was my whole point, was maybe it could have been handled a little better.
But should he do that if he thinks it's going to hurt his movie, his piece of art that he's creating?
Right.
If it hampers the movie, then no. That's my opinion. I like this conversation though.
Right.
I think it's a fair,
I don't, and I haven't come down on either side. It's kind of one of those things, like, I'm never going to go out and boycott this movie. It's well made. It's incredibly well acted. It's one of the best of the year. It is. It's an A-. Fuck it. I've talked myself into it. But it doesn't mean that it's like an easy movie. It's not easy thematically. I don't think it's, I don't think a lot of things in life are black and white. But this is definitely one of those things where I'm like, yeah, it's good and bad.
That's good though.
It's a good movie. Yeah, no, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that it makes me think. It does scare me a little bit that there are people out there who are going to see this the wrong way. And probably,
there's a billion other things out there that they can
And you're
see.
right. And it takes me back to, and this might be boring for people because they're like, well, God damn it, just fucking figure it out, Alex, for fuck's sake. But I think the reason why I look at this different than a video game is because like video games tend not to really represent reality more often than not.
No,
there's
100% not.
If you're a discerning 8-year-old, you understand the pixels on the screen are not real people.
Yes.
And you understand that there aren't monsters like that and then blah, 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 blah. Like you get it. Like even Grand Theft Auto is a heightened reality where things aren't real. There are people on the side of the street who yell cheesy vagina when you drive by fast.
But this was a very realistic
It's a
depiction.
very real movie. And I think that's why it bothers me a little bit.
But again, I mean, we've had these kind of gritty dramas like this before with like, you know, kind of anti-hero type characters.
Right.
This isn't something new. I know for a lot of people, they feel like this is something new, but it might be new to the superhero world, I guess. But I wasn't like blown away like I had just seen some original masterpiece, and this is like a huge change from something that's, and maybe that's just because I've been delving into horror my whole life. And I think there is a lot of like horror movie feeling shit in this, by the way.
I would agree.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't get, I loved it. I didn't tell you what. I did not expect to like it as much as I did. I really didn't. I thought this was maybe like a people like the smell of their own farts type movie.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Do
you agree?
I was so blown away.
Yeah.
I'm so incredibly blown away. I can't, it's the, I mean, I had a really great discussion for like 3 hours after the movie.
Okay.
And one of the revelations I had is like, some of the biggest movies that have inspired like the biggest like wows and just emotion and real. This is an experience. It's I feel like it's an experience. And the two biggest ones for me this year are Endgame and this. As far as like an experience in a theater, I was like, this was different. No?
I just feel like the only reason people feel that way is because he's a Joker. I don't.
No,
I mean,
for me, it was
and
the
watch Taxi Driver. It's a better movie than this, and it's like the same concept. The man down on his luck.
Right.
You get to know him a little better. He's a little bit more of a real person, I guess.
Oh,
but
here we go. I know maybe enough Joker talk. And I will say, yeah, I do like Taxi Driver more.
Yeah, it's a better. I mean, in my opinion, it's an objectively better movie.
But that doesn't mean that it gave me the same feeling as watching Taxi Driver, which is not something you get in most theater viewings. Like
that's probably true, especially not for the mass audiences. This is going to be something new for them.
Well, it's an emotion I hadn't like the amount of dread and sort of just forebodingness in this movie was a feeling that I hadn't felt in a movie in a really long time.
Well, okay, here's a question for you on the dread, like that feeling, Jet. Did you ever have moments where you were like, okay, we get it during this?
Yes.
That was happening.
Yes.
Like a lot
more. A little bit at the beginning.
Right.
Because you're like, okay, I get
it. He gets hit by this. He's
yep.
down on his luck. He's got this problem. He's got that problem.
Can I bring up like one shot that bothered me?
Okay.
So he gets in the fridge, takes all the shit out, gets in the fridge.
Yep.
It's that handheld thing. And then he gets in the fridge and then the camera starts moving like it's really held by a person. It starts like kind of going in a little bit more. But then they just cut.
Okay.
And then he's in the bedroom and he gets the call
and that
from
one
the show.
Bothered you?
It bothered me because why did you do the whole like the camera's moving in? It felt like the camera was getting ready to do something and then it never did anything. And it's like, now I don't know where you go with that shot. It's kind of why like it should have just been a static shot in my opinion. But the fact that it moved and it moved around and it made you conscious of the fact that there was a cameraman moving the camera felt so incredibly stupid to me.
Okay.
I
like when people pick up on shit. Now, next time I watch it, I'm going to be conscious of it.
It bothered me. And there was one other, it didn't bother me as much, obviously, because I can't remember it. But yeah, there was one other shot that bothered me. But that one was like, you didn't even need the goddamn...
Come on, Todd.
Yes, exactly. Come on, Todd. He really got into that. All right. Last thing about Joker I wanted to bring up before we can move on. People are talking about, this is better than Heath Ledger. I do not agree.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you brought this up. I, in no way, shape, or form would ever even put this in the same, like, okay, if we're doing a letter grade scale and Heath Ledger was the A+, this wouldn't be this is like a A- B+.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Right.
Because Heath Ledger owned a movie with like 25 minutes or 20 minutes of screen time.
Right. And I felt like he was actually more complex. I felt like there were more unanswered driving things about him as a character that I have no answers to, that are, I mean, I feel like if we had gotten answers to them, he might actually be as sort of one-dimensional. But the fact that they basically made Arthur in this just poor old Arthur, and then he gets bullied and then he snaps, that kind of makes him a little one-dimensional.
Oh, it's 100% true.
So
it's 100% true that the character in The Dark Knight, that representation of Joker, is fascinating because every time he tells a story, it's a new bullshit story.
But he's into it too, so you don't know how much of it is real.
Right.
Like, and you don't fully know what motivates him, and he says things that are contradictory to what he actually.
So many awesome scenes.
Right.
I mean, it's, you know, and I don't even, it's not fair to me to compare the two, I guess, because, but if you look at The Dark Knight, I mean, I think about some of the shit when he's having the conversation with Harvey Dent in the hospital.
Unbelievable.
When he's fucking burns the pile of money.
Yep.
When he just everything he does in that movie is
not
gold.
About money.
He immediately, the first time
sending a message.
The first time I saw that, I walked out of the theater and I said, well, like, you've got Darth Vader and you have Heath Ledger's Joker.
Yep.
Like, that's the conversation.
Yep.
That's how amazing it was.
It was what, I mean, I can't overstate how much I loved The Dark Knight when it first came out. And I still love the movie. I watched that movie 3 times opening weekend. I saw that movie 11 times in theaters.
It's a masterpiece.
It's fucking amazing.
Masterpiece.
But yeah, I mean, I also think not just performance-wise or maybe, I guess, script-wise with the character. Well, both. I also think he's more faithful to the comics because he is that genius. And Joker does have a driving philosophy behind what he does, despite the fact that he doesn't monologue about that shit all the time.
But maybe that's what, like, maybe we can imagine that Joaquin Phoenix's Joker gets there, right?
He could. I mean, all they'd really have to do is set up like a scene at the beginning where he's reading a shit ton of books about, you know, learning things and shit. All of a sudden it's like, oh, he's learned a bunch of things. He's still crazy.
He's off his meds and all of a sudden he's like, like, I've got some pull here. I'm pretty charismatic. Like, you know, who knows? He turns it into like, oh, well, I can use these people.
Yeah. Oh, and last thing I wanted to say about the movie, and then we can move on to shit we watched.
Okay.
I mean, you can tell I actually really like this movie because I want to keep talking.
I'd like to mention Jack Nicholson as a great Joker, too. Can we just say that Jack Nicholson was great?
Different time. I look at it as a different performance. Very much more cartoony, but movies were just...
but he's another one who's just, he's got, like, you think of that movie and there's so many little great lines he has. Yes. Never rub another man's rhubarb.
Yeah.
I mean, he's fucking great.
My number one.
He's so
my
good.
number one guy.
He's so good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's fantastic. He is absolutely fantastic. I love him.
But your last thing about the Joker.
The last thing about the Joker is I kind of love the last shot where it's him with the bloody feet and then he's being chased. And I felt like this is quintessential Joker.
It was interesting that even part, because there's a weird disconnect. I'm glad you brought that up. You've brought up a few good things tonight that I wouldn't have thought of to bring up. So it's a weird like cut there because you go from like, oh, he's in the streets with like his new gang and you're like, oh, well, he's like, they broke him out. Like he's gonna, you know, all of a sudden he's in a mental asylum.
Yep.
And it's now I don't believe this, but bear with me. It's almost as if like how much of this movie was even real.
Oh, I see. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's a weird, because of the cut is so weird. We don't see how they got him. Like all of a sudden he's in how long has it been?
I kind of know. I know why they didn't do that though.
Okay.
But I also get what you're saying, because if you're already establishing the
He's delusional. He's delusional.
The unreliable narrator.
Right.
That would be the ultimate unreliable narrator.
Sure.
But I'll tell you why I don't like it is because I hate goddamn movies where it's all a dream.
Well, right. Well, that's why I like that. Even if that is like what maybe the part of the movie was bullshit, part of it, and I don't think any of it was outside of what we were explicitly told. But I like the idea if you're going to do that to not let your audience know that.
Right.
It's almost kind of an interesting way to end it because it was a weird cherry on top of the movie. I didn't hate it.
I'll tell you why I liked it. Well, I know why they did it because, like I said, they've mystified him in a way at the end when he's on the top of the car and he spreads the blood to make the makeup. They have solidified him as that character.
Yes.
And to then demystify him by having him get arrested, it takes a little bit out of that moment. It takes a little bit out of the ending. So when you do the hard cut to he was caught, I mean, let's not think like he was just going to get away and be out forever.
Right.
So boom, he got caught. He's here. Just the fact that he's embraced the whole like you wouldn't get it thing. And then he kills the lady and just starts dancing about it in the hall. And the slapstick nature of running back and forth as the guards are trying to catch him in slow motion.
Right. It's like a cartoon.
It was like a cartoon.
Yeah.
They even did like almost like a Bugs Bunny type of like text at the end. And I was like, that is, I think, the perfect way to end a Joker movie.
Well, so I think there's a lot of stuff in this that is meant to be viewed as like this weird, dark, cartoony, fucked up, dark humor thing. I think there's a lot in this movie that's like that. And I had a blast watching it. I know that people like, it was funny because on the way home, the wife was like, oh yeah, that was fun. And I looked over and I'm like, fun? I wouldn't expect that from you, but I had a good time.
Right.
I mean, it's disturbing.
Yeah.
But it's also fun to see a superhero movie, and it's not, I know we love our Marvel movies.
Right, but it's not.
But it's not that.
It's not the same old.
Right.
Which is, I think, why it's doing so well.
It's so funny that Scorsese just picked the perfect time to make that comment.
Yeah, I don't know why it's Marvel movies. And he was going to be producer on this for the longest time, but he had to drop out due to the Irishman.
It makes perfect sense watching the movie that he would have been tagged with some involvement in this at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's enough of Joker. Are we done?
That's enough.
So shit we watched?
Sure. Whoa. Shit we watched.
All right. So I have not had a busy watching week once again.
Okay.
I went and saw Ghost on Saturday night in Minneapolis, front row.
Ooh.
Fantastic. And yeah, it was really good. I enjoyed it, but I'm a little sad because I think they've spoiled me, Alex.
Really? How so?
Because the last tour they did, they were just by themselves with no openers, right? And this time they had a opener called Nothing More.
Nothing More.
Yeah, I liked them.
Okay.
But then they don't play as much Ghost.
So
last time they did 2 sets. So it's like you get to see Ghost twice.
This is the epitome of first world problems.
It did change the show though. It felt like a little bit less of like an event. Plus the place was bigger.
Okay.
Which we should come to expect as they get bigger. They play bigger places.
Sure.
Good for them. But yeah, it was great. I was surprised at how many people were there. It was sold out. Fucking huge. Apparently some people didn't get in because the Armory in Minneapolis has a policy at a sold out show that if you're not there by the time the main band starts, they close you out. But
you went to the Armory.
Yes.
That is
Have
a
you been
fucking
there?
great venue.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's so good.
It is amazing.
I went to see Deadmau5 there.
Dude, it was great.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh.
Really cool place. But fuck them though, because no, honestly, fuck them.
Right.
So we showed up. We had VIP tickets, so our check-in was at 5 p.m. They didn't let us in till almost 6, and the doors people, like general admission, were at 6. That was doors.
Okay.
They didn't start letting them in until later, and then people didn't get in who were at the venue like an hour before the show. Like,
ooh. That sucks.
And it's like you never know who to blame.
Right.
Like, do you blame the band? Was something fucked up with them?
Right.
Do you blame the armory? I mean, I don't know, just a shit show. But the show was great. Nothing More was really fun. I have planned on listening to their music. They had they had a couple weird like contraptions. Like they hooked their bass guitar up to this thing and all three of them are playing it. And like there's this weird fucking sound. I have to Google this thing to figure it the fuck out. But they were a lot more fun than I thought.
Cool.
So, and that's for our buddy Derek, who is the co-host of the Poolside podcast.
Yes.
So listen to his show. But he mentioned that he liked them.
Great. Great. I'm glad you brought up Derek because Derek has been with us since basically the beginning.
Yes.
So
we
shout
love
out
you,
to Derek. Yep. You my boy. You my boy, Derek. So my shit we watched. I watched. Olympus Has Fallen.
Like the original.
The original.
Is that the first one?
Yeah, first one.
Okay, and? Is this the movie that you were talking about at the beginning? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I only had one home viewing this week.
Okay.
Yeah, this movie is bad. This is a very bad movie.
Sure.
Gerard Butler cannot... Okay, one, the bad guys who are bad guys you see coming a mile away... They don't even, it's like they don't even try to hide it, but they're not like sitting there going like, like twisting their mustaches.
Sure.
You just know. You just know based on how the character was introduced. Oh, I'm so-and-so and this is my bodyguard, blah, blah, blah. Oh, you are the bad guy. Cool.
Right. Classic.
Gerard Butler goes in and out of his Scottish accent.
Oh, no.
It's so annoying.
How many sequels has this movie spawned, by the way?
Two. The second one just came out. That was the...
Are you sure it's not the third?
Yeah, 2 sequels to this movie. So there was London Has Fallen, and
the
then...
second sequel came out.
Yeah, the second sequel.
I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing is Aaron Eckhart is the president in this.
Okay. Okay, I
I've
like
never thought Aaron Eckhart was a bad actor until this movie.
Oh, no, really?
Yes.
Is he bad in it?
He's bad. The writing is terrible. He has a son in it, and like their mom dies at the beginning, which is like why Gerard Butler is so tortured because he was part of the Secret Service, but then he let the president's wife die. So now he's just a cop because the president couldn't forgive him, and he can't forgive himself. But don't worry. He's the man. He's still a man. He's the only man in this movie. All other men shall bow to him. He is the man of men.
You probably hated this. Then.
It's so. It is.
It's like Rampage.
I'm man.
Yeah, right. You know, like The Rock and his.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes. He's the only one that can do anything competent. He's the only one that knows the right answers. He's in the right place at the right time all the time. Everybody is so incompetent that he faces that he looks great by comparison. But if you're a discerning individual, you're like, well, that's choreography that makes no sense. You had a knife on him and you had him close and you could have just ended it, but then you let him get out of arm's length. Why did you do that? I thought you were like super well trained. Anyways, it's Man, the movie. Let's see here. He hasn't been working for the White House.
I'm just sorry.
He hasn't. Okay, one. I'll just say the fact. This is so great. The main premise is that the White House gets taken out and the president is taken to a bunker underneath the White House where there's some like secret missile Cody things.
Like where Dick Cheney like orchestrated the 9/11 responses.
Sure. Yeah.
Like when they,
Yeah. And so the idea is that we weren't ready for this attack. Well, one, there's this big ass, like, one of those planes that like the cargo planes.
Okay.
It's coming through. It's going into Washington, D.C. It's intercepted by 2 F-15s or whatever. I don't fucking know my
planes.
planes.
They're F-16s.
Whatever. It's one less. They're a little worse. Okay. They're a lot worse. They're so much worse. It's how did it even get in the city? And then it's intercepted by 2, and they're like, you have 2 more seconds to comply.
No, they would blow it up instantly.
It got into the fucking city, and then they responded with 2. And then the White House.
This is post 9/11.
This is post 9/11.
This is like we know that like right now, I guarantee you that the country is a lot more ready for that kind of shit than they were that day when they were caught with their hands on their balls.
And then I'm sitting here and I'm like, wait, all these terrorists come out from like, I think it's North Korea or something.
Okay.
And it's like, wow, you're so topical. I just love it. And then they take out everybody. They take out like the goddamn army. And I'm like, if there's one city in America that's like that is going to be impenetrable.
Yeah, but that's what's awesome.
No. You want to know what you do is you make it goddamn believable. Then I feel the horror. Then I feel the tragedy. Oh man, they have this slow motion shot where the terrorists take down the bullet ridden. Oh, they even do a cut. They do an insert cut to when the American flag gets shot with bullets, and it's the American flag
with
on
like
the top
holes in it.
On the top of the White House. And then there's the slow motion shot where the enemies are taking it down, and it's during sunset. Oh, but then Gerard Butler goes into the house, and he's there, and oh man, I'm starting to remember all these things.
What you're describing to me sounds like a Jack Ryan for our new stupid generation.
Yes. Like, you know what it really is?
You know what I mean? Like, it's like that type of a story, but like instead of having it be like a thoughtful, like character-driven narrative where there's like intelligent conversations and it's just, the army shows up and...
I looked at it and like, I was like, this is Die Hard. And you want to know why it's Die Hard? Because they got a black guy on the outside in Morgan Freeman, who is the one who the white guy on the inside is communicating with.
Shut up. They do that exact thing?
Yep.
Oh, God.
And then he's got a wife, and his wife just doesn't understand why he can't tell his wife he's in the White House, but she knows. And I love
we've seen that a billion times.
And I love the fucking fact. It felt like it was written by Man Dude, the script writer, because it's like, oh, we got to get some women in here. Well, what should we have the wife do? Oh, you know what women do? They take care of people. She'll be a nurse. And I'm just so fucking sick of that. Like, she couldn't be, it's either a nurse or a fucking teacher. That's what she was going to be.
Yeah, at least we get that, though. We still let the men hang on to something else.
God. It's so fucking shitty. He has been absent from the White House for like a year and a half. He still knows the passcode to get a gun out of the wall in the Oval Office.
Oh, they don't change those.
Yeah, they never change them.
I mean, I have to change my password at work every like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Let's see what else is there. Oh, the level of insulting.
Jesus Christ, he's not looking at notes, by the way, people. This is all
off the cuff. This movie fucking blew. It's so bad.
F, I take it.
Well, it was. The thing is it was so bad. It took me a little bit. I was like, okay, I heard this movie wasn't that bad, so I watched it. Was disappointed.
Dude, there's people that love this shit.
I know. Then I started laughing at it because it's so ridiculous.
Okay, that's
Once
enjoyable.
I had sort of gotten over how bad the opening was, then it just the movie goes too long. It's just too long to be a fun shit movie.
What's your grade?
It's like a D-.
Okay. Are there competently shot sequences?
So sort of. I mean, they're fine. There's nothing good in it.
Okay.
They're fine.
All right. Lowest common denominator.
Yes.
Like type movie. Yeah.
They two things, and I'll leave it
Two more.
Two
Jesus.
things. One, they insult their audience by going into one of the most well-known rooms in Western civilization, and they give you the text. Gerard Butler, we know that the White House
says the Oval Office
says
on the screen.
Oval Office on the screen. And you could have just waited because it starts out with him walking in the door and then it pans. You could have waited.
That would have been the way to do it.
Seconds. You could have waited 10 seconds.
Okay.
The other thing is, so there are secret corridors in the White House. We all know this, where they keep the aliens. So he goes in because the president's son, who he's just a normal kid because he and his dad bond over ice cream. Anyways, that was a slide in of like a normal, a little one. So terrible. We bond. Dad, how about some ice cream? You can't eat all the Rocky Road this time. God. fucking hell. Anyways, all right. So he's in the wall. He finds the kid. And then the leader of the terrorists is like, he's in the walls. He's in the walls.
Of course, yeah.
So they get out their machine guns, and there's like 6 dudes in this room. They go to the walls, and they start aiming at the walls, and they're shooting in. And he's like, oh, we're going to run. So he's taking the kid. He takes out his, his handgun. And he's not looking, by the way, shooting behind him through a wall.
And he's hitting people?
He hit a dude twice. And they didn't hit him once. This movie is garbage.
Makes sense.
Utter garbage. I can't believe how bad that movie was.
So when are you watching the next one?
Next week. I want to watch them all now.
The third one has Nick Nolte, I think.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yes.
My mom actually saw it.
Oh, and?
And I was like, oh, so Nick Nolte is like his dad and he's the bad guy, right? And she's like, how the fuck did you know that? I'm like, because it's Nick Nolte. He's a bad guy.
Yeah, I'm sure he's awesome.
Yeah.
By the way, I heard that it's not as good as the first two. I'm serious. That's what I heard.
Yeah. I don't know how it could be.
I haven't seen anything of the 3 of them. But I excitedly, Shudder came out with the new Creepshow series, which is like the, like Twilight Zone-y horror show.
Dude, one of the showrunners on that is from Wisconsin.
Which one?
Rob Schraub.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
So, Greg Nicotero is one of the main guys. He did a lot of the Walking Dead shit.
Sure.
But yeah, so basically there's been 2 episodes. Each one are little, if you've ever seen Tales from the Crypt or Twilight Zone or whatever, it's 2 30-minute long vignettes. Right. And they've got these neat little like comic book. They're supposed to be like these old novelty horror comics that like this Crypt Keeper type character. He's like the host kind of.
Okay.
And he turns the pages and then you zoom in on the different whatever. So the first one, and I've been a little shocked at the casting they've gotten for this. So the first one had Gus from Breaking Bad. I forget that actor's name.
Oh, okay.
And Tobin Bell, who's the bad guy in Saw. Oh. They were both like not horror characters. Mm-hmm. They were like the protagonist, like scared people's characters, which is fun. But that one was about like this kid whose dad's like a drunk and he's turning into this monster, like a real monster.
Oh, nothing on the nose about that?
Yeah. And then there was one with like a little girl with a dollhouse where every time she looked, there's this head like in the dollhouse, like one of the like a little doll head. It looks like a little monster. It's like a screaming head.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
Just like on the couch in the dollhouse. And every time she comes back, like the family has moved or another member of the dollhouse family has been murdered by something in the house. So she keeps coming back and looking and it's like, and she tries like, okay, let's put a police officer doll in the house.
How about we just burn the house?
Well, it was kind of fun because I was expecting the moment where we see the dolls move, but that isn't how they played it. Like it was just literally like this little girl every time she would check. Like, and it was weird because it was kind of creepy, even though it's like, why is this creepy? This is stupid.
It's kind of silly.
It's silly. Yeah, the whole show's silly. There was a werewolf Nazi one, was starring the guy from Reanimator, Jeffrey Combs.
Oh man,
and DJ Qualls. Do you know who that is from Road Trip? The little skinny nerdy dork from the movie Road Trip.
Yes.
Yeah. He's the star one. Probably my favorite one so far, The Finger.
He actually is kind of a good actor.
He's not bad, no. Now the movie, the show is cheesy as fuck. Right. It is not going to win any awards for its writing or its acting, but
it's fun.
It's a stupid fun show.
If there's anything that I know about Rob Schraub, it's that he is a fun, schlocky kind of guy.
Oh, it's schlock to the extreme.
And I think he embraces that. It's really funny that you brought up a werewolf.
Okay.
Because Rob Schraub, so Dan Harmon, creator of Rick and Morty, he's also from Milwaukee. They're both from Milwaukee.
Okay.
And they went out and became mild. Well, Dan's a huge success. Rob is a pretty big deal in my book because I think he's amazing.
Sure.
But he's part of the writer's room now in Rick and Morty. And he's like, we're going to do a wenwolf. It's not a werewolf, it's a when-wolf. And he just keeps pitching it. And
this is like a nugget from Schraub.
Yeah. Oh my God. I highly recommend the show Harmontown, because it's just a look inside some of the writers in Hollywood who are good comedic writers.
So I'm looking at Rob Schraub right now.
Yeah.
I don't know which episode it is, but he directed an episode.
Sweet.
So I will let you know when I know which episode it is.
Okay.
But, it's fun. Shows like this are fun because of that, because now there's going to be a bunch of stupid little filmmakers. So not stupid little filmmakers, but they're all going to get some. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe one of them, like somebody discovers someone and all of a sudden they get... he directed the Lego Movie Part 2.
I think he directed segments in it. I don't think he directed the whole thing.
Oh, he was supposed to. He left the project.
Oh.
Good for him.
I mean, the thing is like, I actually think, like I said, I recommend Harmontown. Harmontown. If you can look up clips, there's Ed 209 Harmontown. YouTube that shit.
I know. I love my Ed 209.
You're gonna fucking shit yourself.
Good.
It's really funny.
I do love me some Ed 209.
And if you fall down that rabbit hole, you're gonna see some really good stuff.
All right, sweet. Yeah, so I've watched that. Mr. Mercedes is back. It's still really good. I don't know how that show doesn't get more props. Maybe because it's on like an audience network on AT&T services, but really fucking good. This Is Us is back.
Ooh.
Still just solid manipulative garbage. In fact, I think I'll watch an episode tonight. There was one on last night.
Oh boy.
Or wait, is it Tuesday? It's Tuesday.
It's
Wednesday. It's Wednesday. So there was one on last night.
It's whatever day you're listening to this podcast.
Bleep those days out. But yeah, no, I mean, that's pretty much it. I'm trying to think if I watched any movies at home. I don't think I did. Although I am hoping you will also watch In the Tall Grass on Netflix, because that looks like kind of a fun... You seen the preview for this?
In the Tall Grass. No, I haven't.
I haven't watched it yet. It's a Stephen King story, so it's another Netflix Stephen King, and I think it's like people get lost in a field. It's got like Patrick Wilson in it, and there's aliens or monsters or something. But it looks fun.
I just love the way you pitched it in the most mundane way ever. It's people getting lost in a field for 2 hours.
Right. That's what it is. But there's some sort of monsters. But no, cast, you've got, Patrick Wilson and a bunch of people nobody knows.
Well, it happens.
But yeah, I'll be watching that. That looks kind of fun.
All right.
So yeah, that'll be my
I'll join you in that journey.
Yeah, why not, right? Netflix. They've got a solid record with Stephen King. I liked 1922. I liked
Gerald's Game.
Gerald's Game was great.
You almost wanted to say Harold's Game because I've got you on that now.
Harold's
Game.
That's right.
It's like the Jerry Gary thing from Parks and Rec.
Oh yeah. They just started calling me that. So good. But yeah, I don't have anything else. Except for we do have one comment to read.
Oh boy.
This week.
I like comments.
Yeah, we do. So we discussed The Shining last week. So if you have not watched or if you have not listened to that episode,
you can watch it if you want. I mean, there's just nothing going on, but you can watch it.
That's true. You can just
watch your phone or whatever you listen to it on.
Yeah, we're on YouTube. You can watch the still picture.
Yeah,
on YouTube. But solid, or Forget Motivation says, solid episode. The Shining is a classic, but you guys treated Shelley Duvall like she was a side character. Her acting was amazing. It's true that Kubrick basically tortured her on set, which is terrible. She delivered an amazing performance that held its own against Nicholson in most scenes. Now, I was started when we were having the conversation, kind of trying to,
tiptoe around.
No. I think she's hideous to look at.
Oh boy.
Excuse me.
Whew.
I think that's purposeful though. I'm sorry. If anybody wants to call me whatever, you're a liar. Sorry. When you watch the movie, she's weird looking. And honestly, that's not even an opinion of her as an actress or as a person, but that character is supposed to be weird. Anyways. But I was trying to say that her act, like she was good in the movie, and you kind of stomped on me here.
I don't think she was. I mean, opinions are
like assholes.
Well, no, I wasn't going to go there. Too cliche. Opinions are like onions. Many layers to opinions.
Okay.
That's not cliche,
Okay.
right? That's from
I
nothing.
mean, do you have a response to Forget Motivation here? Do you disagree that Shelley Duvall holds her own against Jack Nicholson?
I would.
in most scenes?
That's where I would definitely disagree, because I don't think most people would hold their own against Jack Nicholson's. I don't think that there are many performances that can be touted up to that same level.
Okay. I think she's pretty great in a couple parts in this movie.
She's got some good bits.
I think she's great in the baseball bat scene.
I like her in that. I like her in that scene.
Love her in that scene. Love her when she locks him up in the
I think part of it is
dry food storage.
Right. I think part of it is that I'm not the biggest fan of her character.
Okay.
Because she's a little much.
My wife.
She's like just the way she.
Are you saying
Danny, I need you to stay in bed now. I'll be right back, okay? Okay.
So you're saying that Jack is justified. She's
in
a little
his abuse?
much. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
That's exactly what you said.
Violence towards women.
But I can't believe I called Shelley Duvall ugly on the podcast.
And you're the one who's coming out better for it?
I mean, I see value in her performance, Alex.
I do in some scenes.
And I believe she's homely for a reason. I'm sure Shelley Duvall at that time could doll herself up and be a pretty lady.
She probably cleans up good.
But in that movie, she is very scared all the time. Her eyes are big and she's fucking weird.
Mm-hmm.
So sue me, people.
Please don't sue us.
We don't have any money.
We don't have the money. There's nothing in Bored and Annoyed for you to grab.
But yeah, so next week, Gemini Man.
Jesus Christ. What is...
the Breaking Bad movie.
Oh, shit.
That comes out this weekend on Netflix.
That's right. This is going to be a weird weekend. It's going to be weird.
I can't wait for Gemini. I can't wait. Not because I think it looks good, but this is
It's got a 38%.
Oh, really? Oh, Jesus. All right. Well, it's probably going to be bad then. Maybe it's one of those I like, though. It happens.
I mean, you did like, what was that Wandering City shit show?
No, you liked that Wandering Earth probably more than I did.
No, I haven't seen Wandering Earth. The one with the cities that move.
Oh, Mortal Engines.
Engines.
I like Mortal Engines.
Yeah, you like that shit show, so we'll never
There's
know.
no way this will be better than Mortal Engines.
36%.
It's dropping.
Going in the right direction.
I'm going to go see this in high frame rate 3D, I think, just because you rarely get that experience. And I really want the most horrific version of this experience. I really do. I really do. I want to watch this. I can't believe I'm going to be disgusted.
I can't believe I'm seeing this movie.
Ang Lee, man, he's an artist.
Is there a Dove's shot?
No. That's John Woo.
Oh, John Woo, you're right.
Ang Lee is I Wish I Could Quit You, Brokeback Mountain, and Artistic Hulk.
Artistic Hulk. Hulk, the way he was always meant to be seen.
Yes. But anyways, have a good week, people.
Or don't. It's your life. It's your choice.
Go see Joker.
Definitely go see Joker. I guess that's how we end this.